All right, we'll go ahead and call this meeting to order for the Downtown Design Review Board for Thursday, August 28th. I will request staff confirmation that the Kansas Open Meeting Act required notice has been properly provided.
Yes, I can confirm the packet was posted and the required notice was provided.
Thank you. Item 1.3, roll call.
I will take roll. Board Member Herman.
Present.
Board Member Cates.
Present.
Board Member Freeland.
Present.
Board Member Nelson. And Chair Manley.
Present.
So with 4 out of 5 members, we have a quorum and we can proceed with business.
Thank you. Moving on to item 2.1, approval of minutes from the July 24th meeting. Were there any edits, changes, corrections? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I move we approve the minutes from July 24th.
I second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion passes 4-0. Moving on to item 3.1, new business.
Great. And before we get started, just to make sure, do we have a representative of the applicant on Zoom?
Yes, Tiffany Nagel is with Gleason Sun Signs.
Got it. Awesome. Thank you, Tiffany. Okay, so item 3.1 is application CC 25-16 filed by Gleason and Son Signs on behalf of Fountain Mortgage, requesting approval of a certificate of compatibility to allow the installation of one new wall sign on the south facade of the northernmost Lee Hardware building located on the east side of North Santa Fe Avenue. So Fountain Mortgage is opening on the ground level of Building 1, or the northernmost building of the Lee Loft Complex. They're proposing, so as highlighted, it's the northernmost building with the atrium between. It'd be the south wall facing the atrium. So they're proposing to install one new wall sign on the south facade facing the atrium space between buildings number 1 and number 2. The proposed sign is 8 feet wide and 2 feet tall and is proposed to be located 5 feet above the ground. The proposed sign is constructed out of a polymetal material with a vinyl logo and lettering reading Fountain Mortgage, as you can see on the screen. Because this property is located within the Business Improvement District, review and approval of the proposed exterior sign is required by the Design Review Board before a sign permit can be issued for the proposed wall sign. So the role of the Design Review Board is to review this request for conformance with the design guidelines for downtown Salina. So on pages 2 and 3, you will find the design guidelines, specific policies and recommendations in regards to signage, and we will talk a little bit more about those in our staff analysis. So the applicant in this case is proposing to install one new wall sign that would identify the Fountain Mortgage storefront located on the south wall facing the atrium space between buildings number 1 and number 2. Based on the sign elevation, the sign would be white with blue letters and a series of colored rectangles below. The applicant described the material of the sign as a polymetal that would lay flat against the exterior of the building. The proposed sign would be located adjacent to the entrance to the business, where the sign would be visible to pedestrians. So the Lee Lofts complex has 544 lineal feet of building frontage along the 3 adjacent street frontages, which results in the following sign allowance for the zoning lot. So 544 feet of building frontage. There's 3 square foot per lineal foot of building frontage. So that's 1,632 square feet of allowable signage. The proposed wall sign would be 2 feet tall and 8 feet wide, which staff believes is proportionate and in scale with the building facade. Staff does not believe the size of the sign, 16 square feet, will dominate the south facade of the building. Staff would note that when you look at the rendering, so the typical brick size is 7 5/7 inches long and then 2 1/4 inch high. So based off those dimensions, the rendering as shown at today's meeting, the sign will be approximately 7.94 feet and 1.88 feet in height. But as shown on the rendering, it would be located approximately 4.125 feet above the ground. So the measurement shown is 5 feet. So I would anticipate that it would be slightly higher than depicted on the screen, or potentially in the same location. But that gives you a rough idea of the rendering that is provided in your packet. So the proposed sign would be non-illuminated and appears to be attached to the exterior brick of the building, which is consistent with the downtown design guidelines. The C4 district sign regulations, as we discussed, allow 3 square feet of sign allowance per lineal feet of street frontage. And the C4 sign regulations allow a maximum of 4 signs per business and 10 signs per zoning lot. The Lee Lofts complex already has a 3-foot projecting sign for the leasing office, a 20-foot Lee Hardware Co. wall sign that was built into the exterior wall in 1928, as well as 2 15-foot wall signs identifying buildings number 1 and number 2 of the Lee Loft complex. The Lee Lofts also has a number of exempt window signs that take up less than 33% of the window space and do not count towards the allowable sign allowance for the Lee Lofts. So combined, the four existing signs plus the proposed wall sign would add up to 69.94 square feet. The signs as proposed would conform with the standards and limitations in the C4 sign regulations. And planning staff would note that we have determined that the proposed wall sign does not impact any of the character defining features of the Lee Lofts complex, and therefore does not require a Heritage Commission review. So if you recall, I believe it was either late last year or early this year, we had the 2 building identification signs for the Lee Lofts. So this board reviewed and approved those signs, and we issued a administrative certificate of appropriateness because the sign installation did not impact any of the character defining features of the Lee Lofts buildings. So on page 4, you'll find some possible findings. So in review of this project for compliance with the design guidelines for downtown Salina, it appears to staff that the following findings can be made to support approval of the proposed wall sign. 1, the proposed wall sign will be coordinated with the overall facade composition. The proposed 16 square foot wall sign will be proportional to the building so that it does not dominate the appearance of the building. The proposed wall sign will be subordinate to the overall building composition. The proposed wall sign will appear to be in scale with the facade and be to a pedestrian scale. The proposed wall sign will not cover or obscure any architectural features. The proposed sign will be non-illuminated and attached to the brick facade of the building. The proposed wall sign uses colors and materials which are compatible with those on the front facades of this building. The proposed wall sign features a simple design, which is preferred. The proposed sign will distinguish the entrance to the Fountain Mortgage office, allowing pedestrians to locate it easier. And the proposed sign conforms with the sign size limitations in the C4 zoning district. So following presentation of the staff report, in any additional information presented by the applicant, the design review board would appear to have the following options in consideration of this application. 1, you could approve the application upon finding the proposed wall sign will conform with the design guidelines. 2, you could approve the application subject to any conditions approved by a majority of design review board members. 3, you could postpone consideration of the application. Or 4, you could deny the application as presented upon making findings of fact for the reasons of the denial. And staff would recommend that if the board wishes to approve the proposed wall sign, staff would recommend that the condition be that if there are any significant changes to the sign design or materials approved by the design review board, these will be presented to the board's staff to determine whether additional review is needed. And with that, staff's available for any questions, and the sign contractor is on Zoom and can answer any questions as well.
Thank you, Gage. Are there any questions from the board of staff? All right. With that being said, I'll ask the applicant, Tiffany, if there's any other comments or clarification items that you would like to mention.
No, not at this time.
Okay. I will open it up to interested citizens. Are there any other people on Zoom that would like to comment?
We do not have anybody else on Zoom
All right.
other than the applicant.
And for the record, there is nobody present in the room. So,
Would staff like to comment on? No, joking. Bring
We're
it
good.
back. We'll bring it back to the board. All right. I'll entertain a motion from the board.
I would move that we go with option 2 to approve the application, subject to the conditions stated below, if there are any major changes.
A second.
It has been moved and seconded. Any other comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 4-0. Right.
Great.
Thank you. And thank you, Tiffany, for hopping on.
So we do not have any further business today. In unfinished or other business, we have a couple of notes for you. One, this is Chair Manley's last meeting on the Design Review Board. I think you've been on the Design Review Board the whole time I've been here, even back when I was an intern, and so it's been great.
The good old days.
Yeah. I thank you for all of your time spent reviewing things downtown and helping make downtown a more viable, livable, enjoyable space. And so we would just like to share that as staff that we appreciate your time on the DRB, and thank you.
Thank you. No, I've appreciated being on the board. I've seen a lot of changes and fun stuff going on downtown. I've appreciated the city and the rest of the board and downtown businesses. I appreciate them allowing me to serve. And so hopefully I've enjoyed my time with this board and prior boards. It's been fun. I've seen a lot. I like to see the progress downtown. I would love to see it continue, and I hopefully we'll be a part of that.
And then our other note would be that we do have an item for the September 11th regularly scheduled meeting. We have a certificate of compatibility for the Roosevelt Lincoln Lofts project. And so that will be our next item. And then at that same meeting, we will have our annual business meeting, and we will have one new member of the Design Review Board. So at 3 o'clock, we will have our annual board training, and then at 4 we will have our regularly scheduled meeting with the item, and then the annual business meeting to elect a new chair and vice chair. So
All right. Thank you. Any other comments for public forum?
We don't have
See.
anybody online.
All right. Seeing none, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
I second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.